What's up everybody, Slater Moore here, and today we're talking about what gear I use for photographing whales and dolphins. First thing I want to talk about, the question I get asked the most, what lens I use for photographing whales and dolphins. I use a 100 to 400 millimeter 2 from Canon. It is a great lens, it's super versatile, and it's also very lightweight. This lens is great for shooting dolphins close to the boat, as well as shooting whales that are further in the distance. Whales are typically kept at around 100 yards or more from the boat, so this being 400 millimeters, it's a great lens for shooting those animals. This lens being lightweight, it makes it very nice to be able to turn quickly and photograph like dolphins that are moving or jumping, or humpbacks that are breaching, or killer whales chasing down their prey. So it's a very great lens to be able to move fast as well. Now there's other lenses out there like 150 to 600 millimeter lenses like the Sigma, or Canon makes prime 600 lenses. Those are all really great lenses, but I found that it's very hard to maneuver them around the boat quickly enough to follow the animals. I know this lens is a little pricey, it's close to $2,000, but I've been using this lens for almost 4 years now, and it's well worth the investment. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is what camera body I use. I use the 5D Mark IV, which I can't actually show you because I'm filming on it, which brings me to my first point. I love the autofocus abilities during video. The facial tracking is absolutely amazing. I love it for doing my vlogs and all the filming I do on the boat. And the second thing I want to talk about is why I love it so much for photographing the whales and dolphins. This camera body is a full frame. It's also 30 megapixels. It shoots 7 frames a second, which are all absolutely perfect for me on the boat. 7 frames is more than enough when shooting whales and dolphins. I typically only like to shoot 3 or 4 shots of like a breach or something like that anyways. So 7 is definitely plenty. And it being a full frame and 30 megapixels, I can also crop the image down and better position it how I want. Alright, so now that you know what gear I use for photographing these whales and dolphins, I want to answer a couple questions that I received on my last Instagram story from yesterday, so let's get into it. So one of the questions I got was, how did you get into marine photography? Was it something you planned on, or did it just sort of happen? And this is a great question, and actually both. So I started working on fishing boats around 12 years old. I was mainly just working on the weekends, and then I was working full-time during the summer, just helping out, taking off fish, helping set up the boat, and then basically scrubbing the boat at the end of the day. Now, later, once I graduated high school, I moved into a full-time position working as a deckhand on the fishing boat that whale watched during the winter time. During the summer, we had blue whales, and during the winter, we had gray whales, so I always knew these whales were there, but I didn't actually photograph them at this time, just taking pictures with my cell phone and little video clips and putting them on Facebook and MySpace actually at the time as well. And so after that, I got my captain license around 19 years old, and then I was offered a job on a full-time whale watching boat, where I was later given a camera by the company to take pictures of the passengers to print out and give to them to take as a souvenir from their trip. But I started taking pictures of the dolphins and selling those pictures to the people on the trip instead, because it worked out better. The people liked to remember what they actually saw from the trip. So I was down there taking pictures of these whales and dolphins, printing them out, putting them into little sleeves, and then walking around the boat and showing off these images, trying to see if anybody wanted to take them home as a souvenir. Alright, so I was shooting those dolphins every single day, and the whales, and I'll never forget this one moment, and it's definitely the moment that pushed me into photography full time. I was out there on the whale watching boat, and we were actually pulling off of a minke whale headed to what we thought was a humpback whale in the distance, and next thing you know, this minke whale just came flying out of the water. And it wasn't just one time, it was like 15 times. And every time this whale came out of the water, it had its mouth wide open and you could see the baleen plates, which was absolutely unheard of at this time. And I remember getting home and putting these images on Facebook, and then the shares were just going up, hundreds, thousands, and then it went on Yahoo the next day, and I was freaking out. I was getting messages from scientists, and this picture, this one image I got with the mouth wide open showing the baleen plates, completely changed my photography career. Alright, so another question I got, what advice do you have for people who may be interested in photography? My best advice for this is to go out and get a camera and just start photographing whatever subject you might be into, whether it's wildlife or shooting people or landscapes, whatever it is, just get out there and do it and start doing it as much as possible. Alright, so another question I was asked is what editing softwares I use for photography and video. I use Lightroom for editing my photos, and I use Adobe Premiere for editing my vlogs and my videos. Another question I was asked is what drone I use. I use the Phantom 4 Advanced Plus, and the reason why I chose this one and not the Phantom 4 Pro Plus was because I felt I didn't need the extra vision sensors, and it's the same camera as the Phantom 4 Pro Plus, so I used the Advanced. But I also use the Plus because the monitor on this remote is perfect for doing photo and video outdoors and not really having a cover. Another question I got was, do you take one solo picture at a time, or do you have your camera on continuous? I do have my camera on high speed continuous, but I usually typically shoot what I want because I've been practicing and photographing whales and dolphins at least 4 or 5 days a week. I kind of see what I want and take a picture of it, but in the past I would take 3 or 4 shots in a row to make sure that I get the one. It's actually a better idea to take multiple shots in a row because the whale's moving further or closer towards you. It can go in and out of focus, so the more shots you take, the better shot at having one in focus. Alright, and the last and final question that I got asked a few times was, what are your top 3 tips for photographing whales and dolphins? And I actually made a video about this, and it's 5 tips, so click the link up above and you can see that now. Alright you guys, I'm going to end that video right here. I hope that you found some of those questions useful. Now, if you didn't get the answer you wanted, make sure to leave a comment below because I'd love to make more videos like this and answer any questions you guys have about photography, whales, or whatever questions you might have. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up. If you guys aren't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time.